Okay, so today we're going over Module 5, still proving triangles are congruent. And we're going to be here showing that two triangles are congruent by using the triangle congruency theorems. So let's get into example 1. So here they're asking you, are these two triangles congruent? And if you notice, they give you a few angles here, but they don't give you all of the angles. So they give you a 45 angle here and a 61-degree angle. And they also give you a side of 2.3. So here we have a side included between the two angles. On the other triangle, they give you that same side and they give you the angle 61, but we don't know what angle D is. And we have to show that angle D and angle A are congruent and corresponding in order to be able to at least try to answer this question. So we're using the triangle sum theorem. We add up all three angles in the triangle add up to 180 degrees. Or they're supplementary. So first of all, we take the two given angles, add them, it gives us 106, and we subtract that from 180, so we get 74. So that means that angle B, 74, which means that looks like angle B and E correspond to each other. Same thing with angle C and F. So that just leaves angle D. So for these triangles for us to be able to show, we have to show that angle D is also 45. So again, we're using the triangle sum theorem. We add 74 and 61, gives us 135. And then we subtract that from 180, and that gives us 45. That means that angle A and D correspond to each other. Okay, so with the information given to us, we have angle A and D, their angle. We have a side included between the two angles of 2.3, that's our side. And then 61 is our third angle. So we have the property here, the congruence theorem of angle side angle. So we can say here that these two triangles, by the angle side angle theorem, congruency theorem, they're congruent. So they're ABC is congruent to DEF by angle side angle congruence theorem. All right, let's get to example 2. Again here, are the triangles congruent? Okay, so far they give us a 31 and a 110, but that doesn't correspond to any of these angles over here, 38 or 32. The only thing they have that's corresponding is 62 here and an angle side of 62 over here. So let's find that missing angle, angles K and angle P. So let's find angle K first. So 31 plus 110 gives us 141. We subtract that from 180, 39. Okay, bottom triangle, angle P. 38 plus 32 gives us 70. Subtract that from 180, gives us 110. Okay, so now if you notice here, only one angle is congruent to each other, angles L and P. The rest are not. So since these two, J and K, are not congruent to N and M, we say that these two triangles are not congruent since corresponding angles are not congruent. So the two triangles are not congruent here. Okay, example 3 now. So they're asking again, are these two triangles congruent? So let's just look at the information they give us here. So if you look at the triangles, they share a side. So they're sharing this side right here, A to D. So since they both share the side, that's the reflexive property, which says that that side is equal to itself because both triangles share it. So we can mark it like that. We say AD is congruent to AD by the reflexive property. Again, they also give you another side here. By that mark says that BD and CD are congruent to each other. Same thing with this angle B and angle C. It's also congruent to itself, to each other, I mean. They tell you that this angle here is 90. And since this forms a linear pair, that means that the other side is also 90. So based on this information, this is enough to show that these two triangles are congruent. So let's just figure out which congruency theorem will work right here. So far, B and C is congruent. So they tell you that these two are angle. BD and CD are also congruent to each other, these two sides. So that's the included side between the angles, their side. And now angle D for both triangles is 90 degrees. So that's another angle. So we have the angle side angle theorem here. So we would say triangle BDA is congruent to CDA by the angle side angle congruence theorem. Okay, so let's get into example 4. So again, here, are these triangles congruent? Let's just see what information they give us. So they give us a 46 inches on the other triangle. So that means those two sides correspond to each other. And there's an angle included between the two. So that's our side. And then here we have angles J and angle M are both 37. So that's your angle included between the two sides. And then the third side, 74 inches, which is your side. So here we have side, angle, side, which means that these two triangles, LJ and K, is congruent by triangle PMN by the side, angle, side congruence theorem. Okay, so let's look at example 5. So here they're asking you again, are the triangles congruent? And they give you some information here that you want to use to prove that the two triangles shown are congruent. First of all, they tell you the given part. They say that AB is congruent to AD. So we want to mark that. So AB and AD are congruent. So we mark it there. Next thing they tell you is that angle 1 and angle 2 are congruent to each other. So we also want to mark that. Angle 1 and angle 2. And if you keep looking at the triangle, you'll see that they both share a side. They share AC. So that means that that's another side they both have that's corresponding and congruent to itself. So we also want to mark that, and we say AC is congruent to AC by the reflexive property. So given that, let's see what information they provide for us. So we know that they give us a side, an angle included between another side. So far they give us these two. So two corresponding sides. So they give you two sides. Two corresponding angles. So they give you your angle. And then they also give you another side over here. So we have side, angle, then our third side. So using that side angle side, we say that the two triangles ABC is congruent to triangle ADC by side angle side congruence theorem. And now let's look at our last example. Here it's asking, are the triangles congruent? And again, they give you a given statement. So first thing you look at is they say an AB is congruent to side ED. So that's it's already marked for you. So that's already marked. They told you that those two angles are congruent. But they also said that angle B is congruent to angle D. So let's mark that on our triangles. So angle B and D are congruent. Now, if you notice something else here, right here, we have vertical angles. And remember, vertical angles are congruent. So that means that these two angles here are congruent to each other. Okay, so the information they provide for us now is we have a side in common. So I'm going to say side. We have an angle included corresponding. And then if you keep going in order, we have another angle here. So we have side angle, but remember this could always be reversed, or that really says angle, side. So angle, side's one of our properties you could use here. So we would say triangle. So again, ABC are vertical angles. So you do want to state that to give us a reason why we mark those angles as congruent. But given that, then we say triangle ABC and triangle EDC are congruent by the angle side triangle congruence. Okay, so that's all our notes for today. I'll just complete the classwork that I'm going to provide you right now. And again, it's due by the end of the period.